What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Pancis. If it's your first time tuning in, please be sure to smash that subscribe button. If not, thanks for your continued support. Today we are in my 2000 Porsche 911 996 Gen. This thing is incredible. Let's just hop into it. So, before we actually hop into this video, why don't we go take a couple quick pans of the car, check out the beautiful lines that this car has, the ones that are never ending and the ones that never age. The car is still really sexy, and no matter how old this car gets, it still continues to get compliments and turn heads at every corner. In fact, every single time, almost every single time I drive this car, somebody rolls down the window or somebody asks me a question about the car, like, hey, what year is that Porsche? Or hey, that's a good looking car. And you know, it kind of feels good because I bought this car 1 year ago this week in the middle of COVID, and we got a really good deal at the time on the car. As many of you guys know, in the world today, every asset, every non-asset, every piece of toilet paper, every single thing that exists that's a denomination of $1 has gone up in value. So here we are a year later, sitting pretty with the market probably doubled from what I paid a year ago on this car. And let me tell you something, I don't even care to sell the car because I've fallen in love with the car. It's a car before technology really hit the car market. The only thing that it has in terms of technology is the ABS module, and that's fine because I barely use that, right? So it really just incredible to have that as a sports car that's modern-esque in the way it looks and old school in the way it drives, and that's like the best way I can put the 996. I know so many purists out there hate the fact that the 996 is the first water-cooled. I know there's a lot of haters, and but you know what? I don't mind it. I think it looks good, and I think the story behind the 996 is actually long-term going to create a really awesome asset for car collectors out there. This is the car that saved Porsche during the millennial time. So this 2000 Millennium Edition car, as you can hear that 3.4 liter V6 rip, is absolutely freaking amazing. And the way this car handles is just awesome. And once you guys learn how to drive a Porsche or any sort of mid-engine car, particularly Porsches, that never gets old, guys. You'll understand the dynamic of the car, how it sits and squats, and how it responds in turns and responds to all of the driving inputs of the car. And you guys just kind of got to see a little bit of that in that turn on that windy road. I won't disclose the speed because obviously clearly potentially breaking the law there, I don't even know, but we won't talk about it. But regardless, it's a lot of fun to drive around town. And once you really get a handle of the stiffness of this 6-speed transmission, you really know where to match the gears, rip it, and just have a great time. And the track is something that I started to drive with this car, and it's been an amazing experience. I'll put a couple links above. Maybe I'll even give a couple clips right here in the video of me tracking the car. but it's really actually taught me a ton about driving and the dynamics of racing, and really just all around adrenaline rushing skills that partake in the sport. I mean, it's, you know, obviously you got to be a specific type of person to want to go hop on the track and do, you know, 80, 90 around turns and whatever crazy driving that you do. But listen, you do that on the track, not on the road, right? But that experience and technical learning that you have on the track actually does correlate into some sort of confidence builder on the main road when you're driving, especially when half the population doesn't really know how to drive, and you know, you get into scenarios where you have to really respond accordingly. So it just kind of gives you just a trained thought process. I mean, step ahead, you know, kind of know how the car feels, what a car is capable of doing, especially a Porsche 911. I mean, the G-forces that these cars can produce and still handle and hold the road is actually really incredible. One that I never realized. So pretty freaking cool, guys. So that's 1 year so far. 1 year of ownership, and here we are ripping this car. It's got 86,000 miles on it. The outside and the inside doesn't look like 86,000 miles, and that's the reason why I don't mind keeping the car. It's beautiful, and it runs beautifully. And the only thing that we've done so far to this car this year is we've changed the brake pads, even though we didn't need to change the brake pads. I thought we should have, but the brake wear light's still on. It's just one of those quirky things of the generation where sometimes the aging harnesses can go bad. So it's like $20 for the harness, and I just haven't done it because it's really not a big deal to me. I know my brakes are fine. So besides for changing the brake pads, the only other thing besides a couple oil changes was the oil pan. We changed the oil pan, we put a new one in, and the reason it was it was a little bit deeper, and it had the baffle upgrade that helped keep the oil around the sump. So when you're hitting a G-force around a turn and that oil starts to slosh around on the track or around the back roads, that you're not losing the oil pressure that so commonly causes these engines to fail. Other than that, this car has the dual row bearing IMS, so knock on wood, no issues there on this car. It's still original, and as long as the car's driven and hasn't had an issue, the percentage and likelihood of it failing, knock on wood, I shouldn't jinx myself, just kind of continues to go less and less. But eventually I'm sure we'll get to it once the clutch needs to be replaced. But in the meantime, the clutch is still original, and I really don't abuse the clutch. I just rip on the car, not abusing the clutch, which you can do. Those two things exist. And yeah, the car's just fantastic. I love it. It handles. It's everything you want, really, in a car to just get around and have fun in, and it's perfect. No, I'm in love for sure. I mean, second through fourth gear are absolutely amazing. Once you get out of first is a little quirky in this 6-speed. If any of you out there know the 996 trans, maybe even the 997 is similar. You know, first gear, you either got to ride out or you got to get in and out quick. You know, it depends on what you're doing. So otherwise, you can rock. You don't want to be rocking. So this car rocks as it is. We don't need the additional rocking. But yeah, 1 year ownership in a nutshell right there. And if any of you guys are out there thinking about buying one of these, you know, I think they'll continue to appreciate and value long term if you find the right one. And then I also think that if you want to buy a car that's beat up and do some work on it, they're actually really not that hard to work on. And if you do that, all the power to you of doing modifications and making it really much more fun of a car, you know, much more enjoyable of a car to mod it and track it and do some of that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of cool things out there. I'm personally not going to really do that with this car. I think this car is perfect the way it is. But yeah, it's just awesome, guys. Absolutely awesome. I hope you guys can see how excited I am about this car. Alright, let's see what else. We got the oil pan in there, oil changes, brakes, comfort. Car's really comfortable. What's really awesome about this car is you're sitting a couple inches above the ground, but you don't feel like you're in a sports car, and the seats are really cushiony, right? Cushiony? seats are cushiony. They got cushion, and it feels comfortable in here. And no matter how long you're driving, depending on who you are, you don't really get tired of it. And that's pretty incredible. And of course, it's pleasant in here. It smells like pure leather, and you're surrounded by leather and vinyl and Alcantara, and yeah, it's just a blast from the past. And I love it. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say it. I think you guys should buy one. So this is my 1-year ownership review. This car has been, knock on wood, flawless, and the community around these cars is pretty awesome. I love, it's like the Jeep wave, you know, anybody out there owns a Jeep, you drive around, there's guys that wave because you got a Jeep. You know, it's the same thing with the Porsches. Everybody's always waving at you, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool being part of the club. So yeah, I highly recommend buying one if you haven't already. Check out your Facebook marketplace or something out there. I'm sure you can find a deal while they're still there. And in the interim, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't, then drop a comment. If you have, drop a comment. And if you have, for sure, drop a like and smash the subscribe button, because there's always more car content coming on my car channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time.